Good evening, my accomplices. Today on the agenda, my sister asked me a really interesting question a couple days ago. She has ADHD. She tends to struggle with focus. She came by yesterday or the day before and she wanted to get some sewing done, but she couldn't feel herself getting it actually done. Maybe she didn't want to do it, or maybe she just didn't feel like it, which those are two different mental processes. But the point is, she didn't get it done. And as a sort of aside, as a sort of question, she just kind of casually asked me, well, you make music. What do you do when you don't want to feel like making music? That question is a very small and benign question, but it's actually been consuming most of my thoughts since she asked it. Okay. Let's delve a little into how I think. Normally, there is a radio in my brain. It's just a metaphor. There is a radio in my brain. And that radio, outside of my control, has always been playing some noise. There's always been the best human word for it is music. There's always been some music or some sound or some feeling in my brain. There's always background noise or background music. On very rare occasions, though, the radio is turned completely off. Weird, I know. And so when my sister asked me that question, I sat with it. And when I sat with it, I slowly started to realize, oh, there's no music right now. I've heard the feeling I've described before as a sort of seasonal depression, but this isn't really depressing. I'm not really being silenced. I can go over and turn the music back on, but it would take energy, and if anything, kind of feels like a seasonal isolation. So that's how I choose to identify with this. No, I'm not sad. No, I'm not weak. No, I'm not just tired or lethargic on its own. I am isolated. I am independent, and I am alone, and I am powerful, yet also secluded, isolated, a little lonely. It doesn't detract from my mood or from my personality. It just tires me. I always get confronted with people who lack empathy in these times, and so I'm making this video for myself as a sort of self-confirmation. Yes, you feel this way. No, you're not crazy. Note that in a couple months, when spring comes back, you will be completely normal. And I'm not going to let my future self gaslight my past self. Yes, you feel this way. No, it's nobody's fault. It is nobody's fault, and it is not your fault either. It is your responsibility to take care of yourself and still be empathetic and rational towards other people. They will not get it. They will not understand that you feel isolated. They will not understand that you are isolated right now. It is a tall order to ask you to empathize with people who are blissfully ignorant, to empathize with those who ignore genocide, to empathize with those who ignore isolation in all of its forms. And yet, I don't have to ask you, because really, against your will, you're going to do it anyways. And so instead, all that I ask of you is to believe in yourself. Have faith in yourself that you will survive this isolation. I'm the one who understands this at the moment. The isolation is traumatizing. Adlerian psychology notes the difference between etiology, which is the study of causes, and teleology, which is the study of the current state of things. Etiology, the study of causes, writes that you are formed by things beyond your control, that your past traumas shape your present reality. Teleology shifts that window from the past and present to the present and future. Teleology says you are the subject of your story. You write the plot of your movie. You decide the genre. You decide the characters. You decide the wins. You decide the losses. You decide the trauma. You can have your sad scenes. You can have your losses. You can have your downswings. As long as you make sure that the story that you're writing is ultimately a good one. Because it deserves to be. Because you deserve to be in a good story.